Hi everybody, Dr. Valerie Likakos here, your chiropractor and nutritionist. This is a two-part series of videos that I put out on the importance of protein. And so I spoke on certain balancing effects that protein has, and today I'm going to talk about protein and its relation to body composition. And I'm also going to talk about a little bit about body composition in and of itself, because it's something that is very important health factor. And we're not very aware of, and how protein affects and optimizes that body composition. What is body composition? Body composition is your ratio of muscle to fat. So how much fat we have in our body and how much muscle we have in our body, and the ratio between those two. And there's an optimal number for that. There's an individualized optimal number for that. So it's very good if we optimize that factor. And usually even if we're thin, we lean toward the side of having a little bit extra fat and less muscle than what we need. So typically, we want to increase more muscle in our body and decrease fat. That's not to say that we don't need fat. Fat in itself is very healthful. It's a metabolically active cell. We need to have a certain amount of fat in our body to have correct functioning. So, you can definitely have too low fat in your body as well, and that's not helpful either. But today I'm talking about optimizing the body composition with protein and supporting muscle buildup. And so we all think about body composition and we think about the aesthetic aspect of it, and there is a wonderful aesthetic aspect of it, because who doesn't like to feel and to look toned and have some muscle tone, and it looks really great. An athletic body, it looks wonderful. So but there's also a huge health benefit to that that a lot of people are not aware of. A lot of people know that exercising and having, being lean and being toned and having muscle mass feels good, but I don't know if most people really understand and know the importance of it. Studies have shown that people are more motivated when they find that something benefits them aesthetically as opposed to for health purposes. So it's good enough that body composition is an aesthetic driver. So people will start and going to the gym, eating nutritive foods just based on the fact that they'll look better. So that's very powerful and great, and who doesn't want to look better? But I'm also here to tell you, underlying that, and even more important than that, are the health benefits that come along with an optimal body composition and how protein supports it. So body composition, like I said, typically we have lower muscle than what we should and higher fat than what we should relative one to the other. And how do we change that? Well, we change that by supporting and gaining muscle tissue, and also by minimizing fat. And while that may seem, obvious, do we really think about it? And how do we do that? And so a couple of ways that are, very well known is we gain muscle by certain exercises that we do. So we can gain muscle by doing resistive exercises, weight training, swimming, even walking. Of course, jogging will build up the whole lower and the core muscles. So all these things do help the body build up muscle. So that's one way that we can really increase the muscle and therefore bring our muscle fat ratio to a better balance. And another very well-known way is to decrease the amount of fat that we have. And we do that by eating a more healthful diet, one that's lower in the unhealthy fats, while still maintaining the right amount of good fats and healthy fats, and decreasing sugar, and eating less processed foods and eating more natural foods. I'm not going to get into the dietary aspect, but because it'll go beyond our scope here. But the diet is a sure way to help support the body composition by lowering the amount of fat that we have in our body, and therefore the ratio of muscle to fat will go in the correct direction of increasing muscle mass for most of us. Most of us need that, not all of us. What's another way that we can do that? Well, gaining muscle again, but we already discussed about gaining muscle through exercise. Did you know that we can gain muscle by the foods that we eat? Well, Yeah, we can. There's two ways that we can put on muscle, and one is from doing, resistive exercises and putting our muscles to work, and the other one are the foods that we eat, and it's also the foods that we take out. So not eating or lowering the amount of sugar that we have, because sugar will attack the muscle mass. Eating enough foods also helps, and eating the correct foods. And so protein is a big supportive nutrient for maintaining and building muscle. So things like chicken, fish, meat, eggs, nuts and seeds, dairy, if you eat dairy, is also a protein. And the like. I have other videos that are a little bit more specific to that, but eating enough good quality proteins help maintain and also increase the amount of muscle we have. So when we're increasing the muscle, the ratio of muscle to fat will go in the correct direction. And like I said, taking out foods that will attack muscle or start to break down muscle, like sugar and pro-inflammatory foods, is important. So stay away from processed foods and foods that are not natural. And then also how often and how much nutrient we're eating. Nutrients in general, but protein in particular. So if we're getting enough protein, we want to get protein throughout the day. We don't want to just have protein once a day. We want to have it throughout the day, every few hours, and get some protein, because once we hit a time of no protein, a certain amount of time without any protein, the body will say, I need amino acids. Those are the building blocks of protein. So it'll need amino acids, and it'll start to go and start breaking down your muscle tissue. So why is body composition so important? What does it do? Well, body composition is one of the best predictors of overall health, more so than what your blood pressure count is, what your cholesterol count is, or anything like that, because your body composition is a driver of your blood sugar metabolism. And if you've heard any of my prior videos, I talked about the importance of blood sugar stability. And so once you stabilize the blood sugar, you stabilize the body. You stabilize the immune system. You decrease the inflammatory response. You stabilize mood. You stabilize your hormones. Virtually everything follows that blood sugar. So having a correct body composition really is a big driver in correct blood sugar metabolism, and therefore really stabilizes all these other mechanisms in your body. So they're finding this muscle to fat ratio is one of the biggest predictors of your overall health and how you feel. So that's really important. And just one last thing I want to note is that oftentimes people are doing detoxification. And detoxification takes a lot of energy for your body. So people are detoxing and they're avoiding foods, a lot of foods in general, and they're really really decreasing the amount of calories that they're getting. What does that do? That's okay for about 2 to 3 days. After the 2 to 3 day mark, your body will start to break down muscle tissue. So you want to be careful, and it's not just the detox diets, it's the weight loss diets that people are doing. You need enough nutrient. You need enough nutrient to sustain the correct amount of muscle. You need enough nutrient to sustain the energy of your body to detoxify processed foods and toxins. So it's important that we get enough nutrients. A lot of people don't realize that. So they think that if they're going to go into a very low caloric diet, it'll be very beneficial. If they want to detox and go days without eating and just drinking. Now, granted, there are fasting diets that are very good. They follow certain rules. I'm excluding that from this talk here. And there's also juicing and stuff like that, but just plain juicing that does not contain enough protein, also after a 3 day mark, will start to break down muscle mass and therefore affect your body composition. You're kind of working against yourself. So keep all those things in mind. I know this is very general information. There's just so much information to give, but just keep these concepts in mind. And when you're starting any endeavor of detox diet, weight loss diet, and just in general on your daily basis, of how to eat and how to exercise. I hope these pointers have been helpful to you, and I hope it'll make you feel better and look better. Thanks, everybody. Good day.